was on YouTube and I seen someone, I think it was Emily Noel, and she was going through the top rated or best sellers from Ulta from their high-end side of makeup. And so when I was watching that, I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. I wonder what the best-selling products for drugstore makeup products would be. So I started looking, and as I was scrolling through, I started to notice a lot of products that I already own in my collection. So I decided, just for fun, to scroll through each section of makeup, like eyeshadow, foundation, concealer, lip, all that stuff, and pick the best-selling drugstore product, and using the first one that I seen that I knew that I owned or that I already had in my collection. I didn't want to buy any new makeup right now because one, we just bought a house, and so I'm trying to really watch my spending on extra things, and that's definitely makeup would be one of those. And also shipping right now and dealing with the coronavirus, I didn't know how long it would take me to get anything. And I like pulling different products from my collection and seeing how different makeup works together. Like, a lot of these things I don't think I've ever really put together per se. And so actually 2 of these products are new, and I've had them down in my bin from who knows how long ago when I bought them to try in the future. So I thought, well, this is exciting. Now I get to pull them out and test these new products out. So I'm going to be using all of the best-selling drugstore makeup from Ulta that I currently own in my collection. So I already moisturized using my L'Oreal Paris Age Perfect Hydra Nutrition Day Cream. The best-selling eyebrow product that I already have in my collection is the LA Girl Shady Slim Brow Pencil. Mine is in the shade Taupe. Now, this actually is one of the newer products that I get to try out. I bought one previously in the past. Let me bring you down just a little bit here. I previously bought one in the past, but unfortunately it broke. So I am hoping to have better luck with this one. And of course, we all know, well, all of us who watch YouTube, and if you watch Jessica Braun, this is one of her favorite eyebrow pencils, and I have always wanted to give it a try. I think when I ordered this off of CVS too, I got it on sale for, I either got it from CVS or Ulta. I can't remember where I originally placed the order, but I got it on sale for $3, and it originally is $6. So I thought that was a good time to try it, was when it was on sale. Now, one thing I can already tell you is that this color Taupe is not going to work for me. It is way too yellow. So I definitely, if I ever tried this brow pencil again, I would definitely be going with a different shade, probably something more brunette, because this taupe shade is not working. Like, you can even tell, it almost looks orange on camera. What in the world? My eyebrow looks orange. Yeah, not too thrilled about that, if I'm being honest. That shade is way wrong. My eyebrows look orange. Also, forgive the lighting if it looks a little bit dark and shadowy right now. And if you can tell, my background is different because we just are in the process of decorating this room, and I moved some things around. And so I need to work on my lighting now that I am situated here. I am probably going to put some type of light right here to combat the shadows that I'm getting from this wall. So just bear with me for a little bit until we get this figured out. But yeah, there is that brow pencil, and your girl is not a fan. The color is not going to work for me. For eyeshadow base, the best-selling one was the NYX Professional Makeup Eyeshadow Base. I have mine in the shade Skin Tone. So I am going to take a little bit of that. And I am really going to try to warm this product up before I apply it to my eyelid. And the few times I have used this, I almost feel like it is too dry. I don't know if anybody else has had this issue or not. Like, it feels like it dries before I can actually get the product dispersed onto my eyelid. Like, right now I feel like I'm really having to drag it, and I don't personally want to be dragging products when I am using them on my eyelids. Instead of using my finger, I'm going to go in with I don't even know what this is. It's a shader brush. It is so old. It's from Wet n Wild. I'm going to get some of that on this brush and see if that at all makes it easier to disperse the product. It is making it easier, but now I almost feel like I have too much. Okay, so eyeshadow base is applied. I don't know. I can still see my veins coming through on my eyelids. And over here especially, it looks really dry. It looks very dry right there. So I don't know how I feel about this eyeshadow base, to tell you the truth. All right, so when I looked up, I gotta quit saying so. Ugh, it drives me crazy. You don't know how many times I edit out saying so and all right, because it drives me nuts when I go back and edit my videos. For eyeshadow, the first palette I've seen that I own is the Sweet Talk palette from ColourPop. Now, a lot of people may say ColourPop is not a drugstore brand. Well, I would agree with you, except that I did this specifically looking on the Ulta website. Now, if I was going to do like Walmart or CVS, no, I would not include ColourPop, obviously, because you cannot get ColourPop at those stores. But because you can purchase ColourPop through Ulta, I decided to go ahead and include it in this video. So for eyeshadow, the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to take the shade Work It, and I'm just going to lightly, very, very, very lightly try to set this concealer, or excuse me, this eyeshadow base. All right, so then I am going to take the shade I can't even read that. ICYMI. I don't even know what that means, but this shade right here, and I'm going to run that in my crease. Then to blend that out, I'm going to take some of this shade Catch Me to blend out the top part of that into my brow bone. Then to deepen up the outer corner, I am going to go in with some of this shade Feel Free, which is this deepest shade over here. And I am just going to lightly pack that into the outer corner. Okay, and then all over the lid, I am going to go in with the shade Melody. I'm going to take a flat shader brush, dip into that shade, and then I'm going to spray it with some of my primer spray from AOA. If you haven't seen my AOA video, I'll link that for you up here. And I'm just going to apply that all over the lid. This is not a mirror. This is not a mirror. Then I'm just going to take some of that Feel Free shade on my finger and just lightly tap over where they meet to blend them in. And I'm going to call that good. So I'm going to do the other eye and I'll be right back. As far as these shadows go, I've played with ColourPop these shadows a lot, and I feel like ColourPop shadows blend beautifully. However, I feel like I'm having a really hard time blending over the eyeshadow base. So for me, I don't know if this eyeshadow base is personally my favorite, just because I feel like I'm having a really hard time. Maybe I should have sat it with, or maybe I should have set the eyeshadow primer with powder instead of eyeshadow, but I feel like it got really patchy and I was having again to drag the eyeshadow. And I know that that's not typical of the ColourPop eyeshadows, but I mean, it still looks pretty, and it doesn't look as patchy off camera, but it's definitely not as smooth and seamless as it normally would be. So for primer, can you guess what the one of the best-selling drugstore primers was? The e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. So I'm going to take a little bit of this on my finger. I'm going to really warm it up and apply it pretty much just to my nose and my cheeks and just a little bit in between my eyebrows. It has been a long time since I used this, so I am curious to see how it wears under the foundation we're getting ready to use. So I'm going to give that just a moment. So let's go ahead and do mascara. For mascara, I've seen the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect Mascara. So this is the one in the green tube. I do have 3 different kinds of this, but I gave one of them to my sister. I recently did a teen makeup look with her for summer using very minimal product, and mascara was definitely something that she uses, and I gave her one of these Essence mascaras because they do so well and they are affordable. So if you haven't seen that, I will link that for you up here. So this, I think, is the first time I have used this green one, and I am definitely noticing that this is a wet formula. Like, holy cow. I wonder if this is one of those mascaras where it needs to dry out a little bit to be at like optimal performance, because I have definitely used mascaras like that in the past, and I feel like this is dispersing a lot of product and it is clumping my lashes together a lot. It's kind of intense, and like I'm trying to go through and that's not really helping me any. In all transparency, I am not loving how my lashes are looking. They are just too wet and too clumped together now, and almost too much product. Like, I don't know. I'm not really digging it. I mean, they definitely stand out. Like, you can see my lashes, but I'm not really loving how it looks. So again, that may be a formula though that has to dry out a little bit. I'm just guessing. I don't really know. Moving on to foundation, the best-selling drugstore one was the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. I have the shades 400 and 445, so I am just going to mix those on my hand. One is too light, one is too dark, one is too yellow, one is too pink. So we are just going to make this work. I actually used this foundation in my beginner's guide to makeup. If you haven't seen that, I will also link that video for you up here. All right, I got this a little too yellow, so I'm going to go in with a little bit of the lightest shade and just kind of try to balance this out a little bit. All right, so now let's blend. Few things that I am noticing. It looks very patchy in some spots. It's almost not wanting to blend out. Like, it feels like it is grabbing my face in certain areas. It does not look great on my nose. And when I tried to build it up on my cheeks, it's almost like the foundation I already had, it removed the product underneath. So instead of building, it actually removed the foundation. Not looking great between my eyebrows. And it looks rough around my mouth. Now, I don't generally have that issue, so I'm wondering if that is because of the poreless putty primer. Because that's, again, not a primer that I use typically. It doesn't want to blend out in this area, and that's where I put that putty primer. It doesn't look very good at all. And again, when I tried to build up coverage, it actually removed coverage. So let's move on to concealer. The Maybelline Instant Age Rewind was at the top of the list. Mine is in the shade 095. Let's hope this can salvage this look a little bit. We're having a little bit of a rough time. All right, that helped a little bit right in here. So to set that, the best-selling powder was the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder. Mine is in the shade 05 Fair. This was such a big hit when this came out. I remember everybody talking about it and raving about it and comparing it to a lot of name brand powders. And the fact that it is such an affordable powder and that it does have such a wide shade range does make it a great drugstore powder for you to try out. So I'm just going to set my under eyes. The powder kind of helps set that foundation down on my cheek that seemed to lose a little bit of coverage. Oh, I forgot I have a stick blush. All right, we're gonna do it anyways. We're gonna do it anyways. We're gonna do it anyways. The top seller for blush was the ColourPop blush sticks. Mine is in the shade Under Pressure. Now here's just one small gripe I have about this, is that they put the names on the lids. So if you have more than one of these, if you get the lids mixed up, you're gonna get your shade names mixed up because there is no shade name on the bottom. That's my only gripe. So I am going to put this on the back of my hand to warm up the product. And then I'm going to take a sponge, tap into the product, and then tap it onto my face and hope for the best, since I totally forgot and I already set my face with powder. Now this blush color though, with that ColourPop palette, is a lot of pink. It's a lot of pink, guys. Okay, that doesn't look bad. I think we salvaged it. That is a really beautiful blush though. This and their highlighter sticks are really great. This used to be something that I would keep in my like to-go makeup bag, because where it's a stick, I could like do it with my finger or a sponge, especially like on the way to church pre-corona. When we lived a little bit further out, like we had an extra 15 minutes where I was on straight stretch road, I would do my makeup in the car, and this was something that I would use a lot. All right, so let's go ahead and do bronzer. For bronzer, we have the Milani Sun-Kissed Silky Matte Bronzing Powder. Mine is in the shade 02. I am going to take this e.l.f. Flawless Face Brush, dip into the Milani powder, and just bronze the perimeter of the face. I love this bronzer. It is really pretty. It has this nice, like, okay, if you have the Physicians Formula bronzer, you know that smell. This does not smell like the Physicians Formula bronzer, but it has a pleasant, beachy, tropical smell. Like, it reminds me of this tanner that my mom used to use when I was a kid. Like, she would put it on and go out to the tanning bed. Don't use tanning beds. Cancer, melanoma, just don't do it. But that's what it smells like. So it reminds me of my childhood. I have nothing to say about this because I love it. And for highlighter, we have the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powders. Mine is in the shade Precious Petals. I'm going to take my Milani highlighting all over blending brush, but I use this for highlighter. I'm going to tap into that and just hit the high point. These really are great. There are so many shades and they are so affordable that you really can't go wrong with this highlighter. This is probably a little too gold for me, but when you're pasty princess like I am, you tend to run into that problem. I'm also going to take some of this on a little brush and put that in my inner corner for highlight. And then I am going to put it on in my brow for my brow highlight as well. Alrighty, for lips. The best-selling one, and I'm not shocked at this at all, is the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink Liquid Lips, I believe is the correct term for this. I had mine in the shade Loyalist. This is a very, very light pink. It's probably a little too matte for me at the moment because my lips are a little crusted and busted, but that's okay. All right, and lastly, this is a new product to me. For setting spray, we have the Milani Make It Last Setting Spray. I have never tried this before, and I wanted to get it for a different video, and I got it on a sale with coupons, whoop whoop. And so I'm excited that I had this because I seen it on the list, and it was sitting down in my bin with the LA Girl brow product. Ooh, that is a mister. Oof, that mister is nuts. Okay, so then I'm going to grab my eyeshadow palette very quickly, and I am just going to take the color Meadow and just quickly run that under on my lower lash line, and we will call this a day. So here's my full face of best-selling drugstore products from Ulta. Again, these are not the top-selling products per se. I basically scrolled down the list in each category. As soon as I seen a product that I owned, that's what I used. So let me give you a quick rundown of my thoughts on these products, starting with the LA Girl Shady Slim. I personally don't have anything against the formula, but I do feel like this is a really, really tiny amount of product. And the color is absolutely wrong. My eyebrows look about as orange as my hair, which maybe that's what I should be going for, but I don't know. Something about it just isn't sitting right with me. So as far as the color, not my jam. The eyeshadow base, I feel like I had a really hard time blending out my eyeshadow. I felt like it definitely stuck in certain areas and was dragging. So I'm on the fence with this. I'm going to try it again and maybe make sure that my eyelids are primed with moisturizer or something. Eyeshadow, I absolutely love this palette. I would love to get my hands on either the Nude Mood palette or the what's that other brown one that everybody was going nuts over? Going Coconuts. I would love to get my hands on one of those, and that would probably become a staple product for me with the tones of that palette. This mascara, I did not put it on my lower lashes because it is so wet and my eyes run and I sneeze. I feel like this would be a disaster waiting to happen. Did it make my eyelashes stand out? Yes. Did it make them very black? Yes. I don't like how clumpy they are. Again, I wonder if this is a product that needs to dry out just a little bit to be at optimal performance, because there are some mascaras that once you open them up and they get just a little bit dried out, they're gorgeous and beautiful. So I'll continue to play with this. Let's see, where do we go from there? The poreless putty primer. I have to be honest, this is not one of my favorites. There's actually one from Hard Candy that I want to do a side-by-side of the e.l.f. and Tatcha. Oh my goodness. I want to do a side-by-side of e.l.f. and Tatcha, then the Hard Candy and Tatcha, and then the e.l.f. and the Hard Candy, and compare all those combinations to see if they really are dupes to Tatcha, and honestly, which one of the three works better. So this is not particularly my favorite. The foundation. Today, the color was a little bit off, and that was my fault. I just mixed too much of this darker shade in. It was looking very rough on my T-zone, but that is the specific area where I put the primer. So I am thinking that my issue was not the foundation itself, but the primer. Now, the powder kind of saved the day. When I set down my cheeks, it actually added back a little bit of that coverage that I needed on my cheeks when I tried to build it up and the coverage was taken away. So yay for the powder. This has always been a great powder. The concealer is obviously one of my tried and trues. I use this all the time and I feel like this works great. The blush, I love this blush. I would not mind trying different shades of it someday. Not right now. Right now I need to use up what I have, and you are honestly getting a lot of product in this stick, and it is super convenient, especially for travel. The bronzer is beautiful, has a great smell, a great tone to it, and again, this isn't even the lightest shade, which is pretty impressive for me being a pasty princess, that I can actually rock not 00 or 01 or 0.5, one of the lightest shades, but this is actually the medium shade, and I feel like it looks very nice on my skin. This highlighter, I love Wet n Wild highlighters. Great price, great shade range. They have more pinky tones, one that's more not iridescent, but like chromey looking. I don't know what the right word is, and definitely they have more golden shades, more bronzy shades. So this is definitely a wonderful highlighter. And the Superstay Matte Ink, it is definitely dried down now, very little transfer, and there is a wide variety of shades. And the Milani Make It Last setting spray, I do feel like that melted my powders together. I can't speak so far on the longevity because this is my first time using it. But I hope you liked this video. This was definitely fun to try products together that I wouldn't typically think to put together, and I like that. I like to see how different products work together. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you will like it, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.